All right, let's take a look at some chart action for Dogecoin. We're going to go through a couple charts and kind of show you what I'm looking at. All right, so first we're looking at the Dogecoin chart, and I just did a YouTube short about it, and I was looking at this rising wedge right here. We got a breakout to the upside right here. So what I was doing is targeting from the top to the bottom of this wedge at the back of it, and then we're going to drag this to the breakout, something like this. And we're looking at a target of around .365, 367, somewhere around there. And so yeah, it looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance in this area right here. We're getting some resistance pretty much yesterday, I guess you could say. If we go to the 1 hour time frame, we got this kind of flag pattern going something like this. And what I was doing is watching this downtrend and this uptrend right here. It actually looks like we broke that downtrend right there. So I'm wondering if we can maybe even get like a flag pattern out of this, something like this, maybe drag from the top to the bottom of this flagpole right there. I mean, you can maybe argue even something like that, but I just kind of like the way it's like kind of straight down right there and be a little conservative about it. I just like the way this flagpole looks. This is where like differing opinions kind of come into play, but I would drag that to the top to the bottom right there and maybe look at a similar target, but this one's a little higher around .367 376, somewhere around there. So yeah, we're just in general we have some good upward momentum though. We haven't really showed, like I was saying, we're watching this downtrend right here. If we would have broke down right there, then we could have started looking at possible support lines, but it looks like we're doing pretty decent still. So let's see if we could break this top right here, maybe these tops right there, and continue that upward momentum. If we go into the daily time frame, I'd been kind of looking at this previous resistance, these previous resistance levels right here, pretty much right there and right here. So I'm kind of still thinking around .42, .40, somewhere around there. I mean, that's what I've been kind of looking for in general. To maybe we might see some resistance right here because on the daily time frame we've got some pretty good resistance. It's possible we break through, but I'm just kind of looking at these previous resistance levels right there, and we might get some resistance right here. We might end up breaking this trend line that we've been watching right here, or we keep going. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see when we get there if we can continue to head to these levels. Like I said, these are kind of like the targets, the long-term targets that I'm feeling kind of watching. I mean, in general, I don't see why we can't come up and retest this and or break this, but we're going to have to just do one step at a time. Step 1 is getting to that like target that I was just talking about from this falling wedge, somewhere around .367, something like that. So yeah, this would be step 1. Let's see if we could. The first step was this downtrend like that. It looks like we're clearing that, and then it looks like we have this little line right here. So maybe step 1, step 2, and then we'll try to cross those other bridges. But yeah, so it's looking good still though. In general, we got an uptrend. Let's look at some other charts to kind of see what else we got going. So I've been talking about the Dogecoin to Bitcoin chart, and let's go to the daily time frame so we could get a better look. And this is more significant, anyways. So we got this downtrend going something like this, and we got a breakout to the upside right here. And so I've been talking about how until we break this uptrend going something, or until we break it going to the downside, that I'm assuming that we're going to be heading up, and it's pretty much been doing pretty good against Bitcoin. So I guess you could say let's go to like a 4 hour or 1 hour time frame, something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's just we just broke out of this rising wedge, rising triangle, something like that. We could drag from the top to the bottom of this triangle, drag it to the breakout. That's kind of like a conservative target. Do something like that, and it looks like we kind of hit that target. So let's see if we could continue. It looks like basically a similar pattern to the US dollar chart, so that's pretty good. And yeah, it looks like we've got like another little flag pattern and we're breaking to the upside. Let's see if we can continue this momentum. All right, so let's go to the Doge to Ether chart, and same thing with this one, except this one's like even a better chart, I feel like. So let's kind of clear some of these lines out. So actually, let's go into the 4 hour time frame, and we'll kind of do the same thing. It's another rising channel, rising wedge, something like that. Rising channel, and then we got a break to the upside right there. We'll drag from the top to the bottom of this channel, something like this. I might have talked about this, a possible target, something like this before, but this is what I've been looking at over the weekend, and Yeah, so we actually hit the target. So let's see if what happens here. It looks like there's a little bit of resistance right here. I wonder if we're going to come down and test it, but it looks like the 9 moving average and the 180 moving average crossed right here. This is the 4-hour time frame. Let's see what the daily has. But that's a good signal right there on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see what the daily is doing though. Yeah, it looks like the daily 180 moving average and the 9 moving average are about to cross. They haven't actually crossed yet. Let's see if that crosses. That's actually a good signal. And the big thing though, let's go to the big time frame. This is kind of what I've been wanting, or this is kind of what I wanted to show you in general. The 4-hour time frame looks good, but this looks really good too. This looks very good. So the Dogecoin to Ether chart. This has been in like a falling channel, falling wedge, something like that, and we got a breakout right here. So I mean, it feels like, I mean, in my opinion, it feels like we just got started on this pattern. Let's see if we can continue this upward momentum, maybe come up to try to hit this target up here, or maybe even something like here. By target, I mean previous resistance. We got previous resistance right there, previous resistance right there, and then previous resistance right there. So we got these 3 levels that we can kind of watch. Let's see if Dogecoin can continue this upward momentum. I was kind of curious if we could break this trend line right here going to the upside, and we did that. Now we formed that channel, broke that channel to the upside. So yeah, I mean, we're doing these steps and we're breaking a lot of the steps going to the upside. So in my opinion, the trend is looking good for Dogecoin. And another chart that I was kind of looking at that I just discovered, that I just kind of popped in the TradingView chart and was like, because I've been looking at the Ethereum dominance chart, and this is the Dogecoin dominance chart. I didn't even know there was a Dogecoin dominance chart. So if you put in Doge.D, you come up with this chart, and you can see that Doge dominated at certain times. We got these big runs where Doge actually was the leader. So, and it looks like, okay, so look at what we got here though. I mean, I got some trend lines. Let's kind of delete these. Same thing with these ones though. We had, let's go to the smaller time frame first, and then we can hit that bigger time frame. But it's very similar. So we had a rising channel, or not a channel, more like a triangle pattern. We kind of had like this top right here, it seems like, and then we had like this upward movement, something like that. So it was this upward triangle, and we had this trend line right here. We broke that trend line going to the upside, and so we could target from the top to the bottom of this triangle and then drag that to the breakout, something like this. And we're looking at a target of, well, I mean, this is the dominance chart, so this is 2.37, somewhere right here. So we're looking at right here, we're sitting at about right here. It looks like we have some room to go up, and it looks like we're on a good uptrend. Like I said, this is the dominance chart. So basically, if Dogecoin is, I mean, if this chart is going up, Dogecoin is the king. I think. I mean, it means that Dogecoin's dominating all the rest of the coins. So yeah, it's hard to say that, but like, the triangle. I mean, this target. I mean, this pattern just looks crazy. So I mean, if we go to the daily time frame, I'm looking for some like a bunch of candles to give us resistance. Like, where is the next resistance point? Let me kind of delete some of these trend lines just so we can kind of get a better look. So we have this big downtrend like this, and I mean, we have some resistance right here. It kind of looks like maybe even right here. We already broke through that level right there, and it looks like maybe this next level, like where Doge could be kind of, I don't know, we're in the subtrend where Doge is doing pretty good though until okay, so let's do this. Like, I just drew that trend line right there. We're on the daily time frame. We're getting a nice little bounce right there. Let's see how long we could keep this uptrend going on the daily time frame. Basically, until we break this uptrend going to the downside, I'm thinking it's going up. So it's looking good for Doge, basically. I'm wondering if we can maybe come up and retest this previous resistance up here. It might not be a straight perfect line up there. It might be kind of like a rocky road up there, but like I said, let's watch the daily time frame, this trend line right there, and see what Doge can do. This is pretty interesting in my book. We looked at Doge to Bitcoin, and that looks like it's kind of, showing a little bit of weakness, but it's still moving up. And then Doge to Ethereum looked good too. So yeah, and then we go back to the Doge to USD. So we're not getting a ton of volume. We could go to like a 5-minute time frame. We're not getting a lot of volume with that breakout, so we're gonna probably want to watch that. We got something like this on this smaller time frame, but and like I usually like to talk about, this 5-minute time frame's okay to watch, but sometimes it fakes me out if it starts going to the downside. I don't know. I'd rather just watch these bigger time frames. So yeah. And check this out. So let's check out the moving averages real quick. And remember, I kind of harp on this pretty much all the time on my channel. Let's actually just clear everything out. We can just hide everything with this tool down here. So we have this 9 moving average right here, this blue line right here. And I've been talking about this. This is the main thing I usually harp on, is this 9 moving average. And once we broke it on the weekly time frame, I said once we break this on the weekly time frame, watch out, because it's going to start getting bullish. We could start getting very bullish. And look at this big huge candle right after we broke this moving average. What we're looking for now though is support on it. So basically, if we could get a bounce on the 9 moving average, that's going to be another bullish signal. It'll be good for Bitcoin. I mean Dogecoin. But this is why I watch the moving averages. If we go into like the daily time frame, you can see that we broke above the 9 moving average right here, and we've been on a nice little uptrend right there. We're still above it right here. We got a nice little bounce on it right in this area right there. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, you can also watch this 9 moving average. You can see that broke above it right here. We broke below it right here, but still above it. I don't know. This one is kind of going in and out of it a little bit more than, let's say, like the daily. Let's take away these lines. So the 4 hours been going in and out of it a little bit more than the daily. And so depending on what time frame you're looking at, that's where I would look for the 9 moving average. So right here, there's a clear support line, and then on the 4-hour, not so much. So I'm not really paying attention to the 9 moving average on the 4-hour as much as I am on the daily, or as much as I am on the weekly time frame. And sometimes you could even go into like the 5-minute time frame, and it'll be like clearly like not going in and out of it, just completely staying above it, like something like right here maybe, where it's just completely above it. It's not, and then we start kind of seeing resistance, or starting to see weakness, and then it starts going in and out of it. But in general, it starts going back up. We got this up, we broke out of it right here and started moving on top of it. Broke below right here, saw signs of weakness, started trending down a little bit. But this is on the 5 minutes, so I'd rather do this on more of like the daily time frame, find these clear moves on top of it or below it. And sometimes even on the daily time frame, it'll start to go in and out of it. That's when you have to head up to the weekly time frame. All right, if I haven't lost you by now, then let's take a look at the total crypto market cap. All right, so we got the 4-hour time frame, we got the daily time frame. Like I've been talking about, we had this big huge uptrend like this in the bull market right here, big channel like that. We got a similar thing going on over here, except it's a little more kind of skinny. So we've been bouncing in between this channel like this. I said we were watching this. Let's take away these trend lines real quick. All right, so I was watching this channel, something like this. I said until we break this bottom trend line right here, I'm not really too worried about anything. And then I've also been talking about how I'm wondering if we could break this top trend line, going something like that. If we could do that, like we're gonna get like a big movement, I feel like. And I'm not sure if we will or not, because we keep on getting resistance when we hit it. But even in general, if we, like I said in my last video, if we just keep trending up in this channel, that's even good too. So yeah, like I was saying with the last bull market, the last bull market was awesome. So I mean, just trending in that channel, we just gotta watch for that bottom trend line break. But let's see if we could break that top trend line. We're gonna see like a big huge move, I feel like, because this is the total crypto market cap, and if we break this going hardcore, like getting some like parabolic moves, just expect everything to just start pumping and being awesome and easy to make money. But yeah, so those are kind of the things that I'm watching. Let me know if there's anything else that I should be watching, considering Dogecoin, or if there's any news that's coming out. Like I said in my last video, we got a mix of experienced people in here, so let's all try to help each other out. And like I said, if there's any news article, any news coming out about Doge, let me know, and let me know below. All right, if you guys like that video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you want to keep up to date.